Alright, so I'm going to try to service my Rocky Mountain Growler's Toonie dropper. It's Rocky Mountain's dropper that they put on pretty much every bike that they have there. It's a pretty good dropper, I think. I like it. So yeah, I tried to find some videos online on how to figure out how to service it, and I didn't really find anything, so I figured halfway through servicing it last night I should maybe try to do a video myself for it. So you're going to need a few things: strap wrench, and then your assorted tools. We'll talk about that later. So yeah, it goes this way. So your good thing that you can do is leave your seat post in. That way when you go to undo your collar retainer, it will hold it in there. So now that that's loose, I'll pull this out. Alright, that's loose. So now I'm going to loosen up my seat post collar. Alright, so then I'm going to feed some cable down in so I can push it back through. Pull this back up. And use some little pliers. I use a little metal cap there. Alright. And then I start to clean off the regular seat post, or I start to clean off the seat post with just wiping off the grease. I already pretty much got a lot of it yesterday, but went back in the frame, got a little more on it. So unscrew your retainer here. I don't really know what it's called. I'm not a professional, but all right, get that up and out. All right, you can use some regular wrenches or whatever. All right, got that loose. So now next step, you got a 10 millimeter retainer nut up here, and this is all kind of semi-loose, just because I had already started working on it, but kind of give you an idea. Keep that to the side there. All right, so now we can pull this through. And here's your internals. And then that is your warning. You got high pressure gas. Do not open or puncture that. Probably be a bad day if you do. Now you just pull this apart, and you got kind of like the Fox transfer. You have a bushing here, here, and you have 3 retaining pins. And then this O-ring here will seat up. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it'll seat up in there, and that creates your seal onto your top tube. So from here, definitely gonna want to clean this stuff off, and I just prefer to use paper towels to just kind of wipe everything off to begin with. And it pretty much gets them nice and clean, your retainer pins. Getting those in will make sure your seat post does not rotate while it's in use. All right, we can just carefully take this one off here. Definitely don't want to break this. I'm pretty sure I couldn't get another part for it if I even tried. All right. And I'm just going to wipe all that grease off of there before I re-grease it. That's my lure. I'm going to set that to the side. Take my, this is a metal retainer. Not really sure what that's going on. It feels so gritty. Ugh. That's not good. Yeah, that is pretty gnarly. Set that to the side. All right, last one, last little bushing here. Definitely tell this is the top bushing. Look how dirty that is inside there. All the dirt that sat in there. All right. Now I'm going to really try to get this cleaned up with some isopropyl alcohol. I don't know if that's the best use, but I'm going to use it. Little O-ring goes up underneath the cap. See if that will come off. Perfect. That comes off. I'm going to clean this whole shaft. Yeah, not too bad in there. I know it's a little excessive on the paper towels, but that's fine. I don't care. Spin that out. That's looking pretty decent. Take my toothbrush, and there's little crevices in here. I'm going to get inside those little crevices. All right, so that's good. Let's get time to get this cleaned up. Yeah, that's looking kind of gross. Yeah, pretty gnarly in there. I'm going to kind of toothbrush this area out here. It actually did help quite a bit. Okay, so I already wiped this off last night, but basically you're just gonna be very careful with it and just get it all cleaned up and shiny. I'm not gonna get too crazy with it. I mean, it's shiny enough. I'm just gonna get if I can see any liquid grease coming off, where maybe there's some water in there or something. All right, So I'm going to kind of clean these bushings up here with just some isopropyl. I don't think they have to be too perfect, but basically just getting it pretty clean, you know? The bottom one's looking pretty good already. Might as well get the pins. And get the collar a little bit here. Ew. Yeah, that's definitely needing some love there. Let's do that some more. I'm pretty satisfied with how that looks. That looks pretty good. Cover your ears. Alright, turn that off so it doesn't come buzzing on again. Alright, almost ready for some reassembly. Just cleaning up this, whatever ring this is, a little bit. Okay, so alright, that part's good. Time to get that. So the dropper tube is good. Now we'll get the seat tube. And lastly, the gas tube, even though it's already pretty much good. Alright. Just going to take a dry paper towel to that because I'm ready to reassemble and get this together, because it won't take long from here. It's just going to be a put back together, reinstall, and should be good to go. Since I'm going to be using a bunch of grease, I'm going to prep a couple paper towels to wipe my hands off. So I'm going to use two greases here. Park tool for the seat tube when it goes into the actual bike, and then some slick honey. This is what we're going to put on the inside in here, and especially where these pins are. That's going to be the key. That's going to be the good stuff. So let's start with some of that slick honey. We'll get that going. So here is the top retainer bushy. Go ahead and slide that on. I don't care about getting extra grease everywhere else, just because we're going to clean it off anyways. We're going to get this super lubed. And lube up this other smaller bushing at the bottom. Actually, I forgot one step. Let's put the collar on first. Oh, wasted all the lube. All right, come on, get on there. That was wasted. Oh well. Okay. Now we put this one back on. And then we can, I think that's lube good enough. So we'll put that on there. And then we're going to put our ring back on. I'm going to put some grease on that just to help coat it. Apparently it's not going to go over that that bushing, so let's take that bushing off, put the bushing back on. Alright, so there's that. Now, one thing I like to do, especially when I was doing my Fox transfer, is make sure that there's enough grease inside these grooves here for when you put the pins back in, because you don't want them falling out, because that's a real pain in the butt, especially when you try to slide them back in. So the grease is going to kind of just hold them in there, so you can turn this thing upside down. Alright. So I'm going to just get a little bit more grease. Slick honey. Put it over that. Alright. I'm going to set that there. Get some new gloves. We're almost done. Alright, so here is going to be the back, I believe. Or no, this is going to be your back. One of these is the back of your tube. I guess it really doesn't matter. But inside you have 3 grooves. Hopefully the camera's picking it up. And, you know, hopefully we can see that. But those 3 are going to fit inside those grooves, and it just needs to make sure that you do, and that they don't pop out as you do that. So what I want to do is I'm going to hold each of those pins. I kind of lost my spot. That one wanted to come up on me. I need to come up a little bit. Dang it. Come on. This is where it gets tricky. Come on. All right. All right, there we go. All right, so we got those pins in there. And so now we're going to seat that bushing down in there, right? And there goes our O-ring, and there goes our cap. We're just going to get it hand tight for now before we put our thing back in. That's a technical term, thing. All right. So put your tube back in the tube. You can see it's come back here. And then you're gonna screw that back in. And it's not, we're not looking at like some massive torque specs, anything like that. It doesn't have to be crazy. I mean, I'm good with that. That's not gonna be, you know, too much of an issue. Okay, so now we want to put our nut back on here. Let me get it started. And this actually gives you a reading on here, 8 Newton meters. I don't have a gauge. Well, I'm not going to pull my freaking torque wrench out for 8 Newton meters. That feels about 8 Newton meters, good enough for me. Now we're ready to insert it. So now we're gonna take this bad chicken here, and we're gonna throw some grease on her. This will help keep that moisture and some grit. Maybe if there's any creaks or anything that comes about, help get rid of those. All right, getting rid of my glove, keeping grease free. All right, so now there's getting that back on there. Time to push this down in. All right, so now we gotta feed the cable back. There we go, come on, come on. Get my Allen wrench here. That's usually about where I'm at. So as far as seat post height, I will adjust when I'm done. But let's go ahead and tighten it up for the purposes of testing. All right, let's go ahead and feed the dropper back through, or dropper lever. Got the Loam Dropper 2 lever on here. This thing is sick. I love this thing. Best freaking lever. Even got it on my Instinct over there. I forgot I tightened that on there so it wouldn't pull against the ferrule. Okay. I think I got enough tension on the cable. No, I don't. Okay. There we go. Feels so weird not pushing down on the seat. Pretty good.